Tremendous gratitude that we are able to meet here tonight. Thank you, dear Lord, for allowing this opportunity for us to come together. Thank you also for this extremely short agenda. Help us not to squander this opportunity and to be brief and succinct in our comments. Thank you, dear Lord. Please look over this meeting. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States
and to the republic which stands
one
one
nation
nation
under
under God,
indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. True story. Years ago, I was at a meeting and somebody had to give the Pledge of Allegiance. They were very nervous, and I was aware of the fact that this person was real nervous about doing it. I'm not making this up. They got up in front of everybody, put the hand on the heart, and said, "Oh, say can you?" And everybody. Wrong pledge, but
That's
good intentions. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember John DeWorke.
Aye, here.
Councilmember
See, you
Julian
almost got
Fleming.
here.
Councilmember Ken Gibson.
Here.
Councilmember Will Brasington.
Here.
Councilmember Russell Stahl.
Here.
Councilmember Dorothy Dow.
Here.
Mayor Knox White.
Here. You have before you the minutes of January 9th, which will stand approved as submitted unless there are any objections. Seeing none, they are so approved. We have no one who signed up to speak to us tonight. We have special presentations of people who are going to speak to us tonight. Carrie, you want to come forward with some folks, and Tara?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Now in its, getting a little echo. Better now? Now in its 19th year, Artisphere has grown from a small event into a nationally recognized fine arts festival and a signature event in Greenville. Each year, the festival engages, inspires, and enriches our diverse community through a celebration of the performing and visual arts. The tourism team is fortunate to work side by side with the Artisphere team on this award-winning arts and cultural festival. At this time, I would like to introduce Carrie Murphy, President and CEO of Artisphere, to provide remarks.
Thank you very much, Tara.
Good to have you with us.
Thank
Been a
you
while.
very much for the opportunity to be here. I really appreciate it. As Tara said, I'm Carrie Murphy with Artisphere, and I brought with me a couple of my colleagues to help me share some exciting news that Artisphere is just around the corner. In 15 fast approaching weeks, tens of thousands of residents and visitors will fill the streets to celebrate the arts in big fashion at one of the country's top 10 fine arts festivals. And we thought, to get you excited about that, which is to happen very soon, we'd remind you of just how much fun we had last year in 2022.
So the experience this weekend has been phenomenal. We've had great people, great volunteers. Everything has been so organized, and we are so excited to be here.
It's been interesting that I've run into so many collectors who have bought from me in other cities. So you clearly got an art audience here that, besides coming here, they're looking into art all over the place. So I really appreciate that kind of sophistication.
Artisphere is just such a great weekend to bring your family downtown and to see everything that Greenville celebrates about the arts. It's just a perfect entry point to our arts community here in Greenville, and also a chance to welcome artists from all over the country. And it's just a perfect Mother's Day celebration too.
Festival that hosted 100 artists and average 2,400 in sales to this year, the largest number of artists, 143. At the 2022 festival, average artist sales were 14,000. Now, we're excited to host those 143 artists. We did receive 950 applications for 143 spaces, making it one of the most competitive arts festivals in the country. Those numbers are back to pre-pandemic level. The highest number we've ever received to date in the way of applications is 1,163. We also, when we started, saw some visitors come to the community, and that is not by coincidence. We invest a significant amount, and thankfully for ATAX dollars, we're able to do that. We would see perhaps 7-8% visitors come to the festival over the course of the weekend. In 2022, we saw 27% of our attendees come from 60 miles or more and spend more than one night in a hotel. All that to say, what Artisphere does for the community, its economic impact, and the way it raises its profile on the national stage as being a cultural tourist destination is not done just by myself and the ladies in the audience there that are representing our team, but by the tourism department, the city special events department, GPD, Greenville Fire Department, Parks and Rec. We are just so grateful for the partnership that we've been able to forge over these 19 years. We're expecting a fantastic event in 2023. Hope to see you all out there. After 19, of course, comes 20. So 2024, it's never too soon to start talking about the 20th anniversary. In fact, we're completing that application for ATAX as we speak. You can expect with the 20th anniversary that you'll see another public permanent installation. That will be our 5th, and we're already working on that. So I will do this plug as I say thank you to everybody. I will also welcome any ideas that you may have for a location for a permanent structure. We are on the prowl for a location. So thank you again for the opportunity. Thank you to the wonderful team that works with us throughout the year. Couldn't do it without everybody. Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Great job always, and first-class production. A lot of people don't realize that it's a full year-round operation and runs very well from a financial standpoint, and very few cities have anything remotely comparable in our peer group to Artisphere in the full-time operation. So congratulations for the great job, always. We have a update on Church Street Bridge. Good presentation on this, I hope. Here we go.
Yes, sir. So Mayor, members of council, good evening. Pleasure to be here tonight to give you an update on this Church Street Bridge project. This
That's
is
an old picture.
This is an SCDOT bridge rehabilitation project. Been in the works for a number of years now. Started out as just a bridge deck rehabilitation, and we were able to work with SCDOT and kind of partner together to come up with take this as an opportunity on such a kind of monumental type structure in our downtown to use it as an opportunity to make some other enhancements to the bridge in the form of pedestrian, lighting upgrades, wider sidewalks, really take it as an opportunity to enhance the bridge in some of those other ways.
Thank you for the vintage picture. Who came up with that?
And we've got several vintage pictures in here, so.
Great. Yeah.
It looks like Liberty Bridge is being built, or the Camperdown Way is being built in this picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CNS Bank, Old Furman campus.
So we've got Casey Lucas with SCDOT. She's SCDOT Program Manager over this project, is with us tonight. And Tony Steffi with Mead and Hunt is the project manager for the consultant who's managing this project. They're going to run through this presentation. I'm excited about to see where we are with this project. We're nearing to the point of being able to let this for construction, and the city will ultimately have some responsibilities in this project for some of these upgrades that we're going to be looking at, and then some long-term maintenance as well. But I'm excited to be at this point in the project, be able to give you this update. They're going to talk a little bit about what they've done from a public involvement notification standpoint, just what the schedule looks like moving forward, and some of the design features of the project. With that said, I'm going to let Tony step up and walk us through the presentation.
Good, thank you.
All right, thank you, Clint. Thank you, Mayor and council members, for letting us present this evening. We're excited. We're excited to share with you where we're at in the process and where we're going forward from here. So this picture was one of our employees as a historian. So there's a couple through here that we were excited to include in this. So being the engineer, I get to start off with the boring details. So the project really has evolved from where it started out from. You know, it was geared just as the deck overlay or the deck repair that we were concerned about, but we've been able to mushroom that. Maybe that's not the best word, but we've been able to grow it into what will be not just functional repairs, but also including a lot of aesthetics that are going to be able to improve things out there. A lot of safety improvements as well will come along with the project. So the deck is one side, the sidewalks are another. We're going to replace the railing that is along the outside. If you've walked across the bridge, that railing is actually quite low. And so we're going to help fix that. We're going to make it feel better and be safer for pedestrians as they walk across the bridge. And then another safety issue is helping to repair the stair system at McBee, which has a lot of deterioration as well. So there'll be several safety things that go with it, but then the exciting part is the aesthetics that we're able to include with the repairs that will really clean up this bridge that is such a large monument in downtown. Part of it, what it's going to take to get this accomplished then is the traffic control. So we wanted to make you aware that of a few different items for the traffic control as we go through construction. We will be maintaining one lane at all times during construction. There will be, I put in here just to make sure, there will be one, maybe two short nighttime closures that go with it. But for the most part, we're going to keep it open all the time. But it will be reduced to one lane in each direction. And we'll talk about what that might entail here in just a few slides. We will have some temporary closures of McBee and Broad in order for the contractor to be very efficient through those areas and move through them quickly. In order to accomplish the work that's happening underneath. Pedestrians will be detoured at different stages throughout the construction. It won't be the entire time. It will be throughout at a couple times during construction. And then, of course, the walking path underneath will be closed for most of the duration in order to allow the contractor the most room and staging area, which is a premium in the city, to be able to progress the work through underneath the bridge. And of course, parking will be impacted as well. All right, so the first rendering here shows you a little bit of what it will look like. You can see the new lighting that will be in the arched poles. Will be a special feature for that to give it a little bit more. It's not going to be the plain lighting. And then the barrier rails are a mix of concrete and metal. And those will be now to a safe pedestrian height. And the metal railing will have stainless steel cables in order to help keep the view out into the city as much as reasonably possible while keeping it safe for pedestrians walking across. Yes, ma'am.
When walking across that bridge, I think last winter, et cetera, the railings, when you look, they were really wide. I mean, adults, large things could
That's
fall
right.
through the crack.
Yes,
Hopefully
ma'am.
this will be child-proof.
Yes, ma'am. So the railing, we'll
Thank
use the stainless steel cable railing. You can't see it well in the picture.
Right.
There'll be the metal railing on the outside frame that will be infilled with stainless steel cables that will
Okay.
meet the
Thank you.
IBC requirements of no larger than a 4-inch sphere
Good.
to go through there. So that will be included.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. The sidewalk on the far side of the picture, the left-hand side of the picture is the west side of the bridge. That will be widened to 9 feet. The existing median in the middle will be removed with the goal of taking that to 9 feet in order to include the planter boxes that will be placed down through the bridge and also leave a large area for pedestrians to cross on that side. Sidewalks on both sides, but will be wider on one side of the bridge.
Okay.
And then another aesthetic feature, it's a little tough to see in the picture, is on the concrete, we're calling them concrete barrier pedestals down through the bridge. We're including the logo of the city of Greenville, and we're going to alternate that with the South Carolina logo down the length of the bridge. And then at each one of those, we'll be including lighting that will be underneath to light the path on both sides of the bridge as well. So you have the overhead lighting and then also the barrier lighting along the length. And that looks like, the next one is at night, is a rendering at night.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then the cross-section, you can see just a little bit better of the cross-section of the bridge. You can see that the sidewalk on the left-hand side of your image is just a little bit wider to allow for the.
And you're right, you can't really tell very well in this picture, but the railing is, it kind of mimics the Liberty Bridge. That's what we asked them to look at. So there's a kind of like a wire mesh
Okay.
across there, getting back to the question.
Okay,
You can kind of see it on the right-hand side there a little bit better.
yeah.
And Mr. Mayor, just real quickly, we've had conversations about how downtown at night is photographed. And we all take for granted that, well, there's the Church Street Bridge, right? And so I'm excited about this because I've always felt like the Church Street Bridge should be part of the imagery, particularly the nighttime imagery of downtown Greenville, that it shouldn't just be a dark spot industrial, bridge, but in fact, it can add to the beauty of downtown Greenville, particularly with the nighttime photographs.
Absolutely. And the next picture actually shows this really well. This is probably my favorite picture. So this is the stairs being redone at McBee Avenue. And you can see the blue that is anticipated for the beams, the steel beams, that both the steel and the concrete beams throughout the length of the bridge will be painted a blue. And all of the structure, all of the concrete is going to be painted a very near white color that will really clean up this bridge and will make it great, a great attraction, or a great backdrop, might be a better word than attraction, but a great backdrop for the city right there in downtown. The stairs are going to be replaced. They will be similar in configuration as they are now. However, we're going to improve them to include that same cable barrier on the railing on the side. So that'll be a continuous look that will then go onto the stairwells. The treads themselves, we have planned for the aluminum grooved treads and landings that will be heel safe for those that are walking on it. For ladies walking through the area, it'll be heel safe, but it'll allow water to drain through. It won't collect and deteriorate like the current structure is doing, which is in a very bad shape right now. So that'll be a very nice improvement to that stair system.
Is the stairwell down to Broad going to be maintained? There's a stairway down to Broad, right?
There is not a
No?
stairway to Broad.
Should there be?
Very tall.
Anyway.
It could
you
be a
don't have to answer
discussion.
that question.
There is not a stairwell plan to Broad.
Okay. Not off the bridge,
That's
but
correct.
through the park.
That's correct.
We do need to punch the walking path down to Broad. We've had plans for that in the past.
Yeah.
We did the walking path under it, but it stops it just above Broad.
Okay.
Should push it through.
Is this ADA exempt?
Because it's an existing, you're replacing in kind, then we're able.
Grandfathered in?
That's right. And so because you have access around at other locations, then you would be able to just replace in kind.
Cool.
And as Clint mentioned, we've done a decent amount of public involvement. SCDOT has created the churchstreetbridgerehab.com website that is being maintained. We intend to start after this meeting, is to start adding the renderings that you see and other informations to be able to update. We've had postage or signage throughout the project site. If you've walked underneath the bridge, you might have seen that. And there was some bins with flyers as we were going through the process in order to let the public know. And we've also sent out postcards as well, through a large area surrounding the bridge. We intend to have a second postcard mailing as we get closer to construction to make people aware. And we also anticipate having a stakeholder meeting sometime here in the spring, maybe going into summer, as we get everything finalized and we have a more solid plan for when this will actually move forward. And Casey will talk about the schedule here in just a second. A few things we wanted to include is what to expect during construction. Due to the staging, the amount of work, the size of the bridge, we are anticipating roughly a 12 to 18-month schedule, which will take a while to complete. So there will be some disruptions through the downtown area. Now, again, as I mentioned before, we will be having a lane open in each direction. We don't want them closing traffic completely. And we intend to include the mobile message boards to have that be part of the contractor's requirements so that we can at least try to give advance notice of when things are going to happen, when lane shifts are going to happen, when the next stage will happen, or even just when construction starts. But you can expect some delays on US 29, especially on the north end of the bridge. Once you introduce the traffic signal and the reduction to one lane in traffic, there will be some delays up on that end of the bridge in particular.
Can I jump in real quick with
Absolutely, sir.
I see that you do have the mobile message boards. Are you going to maintain those throughout the entire construction?
We are intending to at least make the contractor utilize the mobile message boards in advance of changes.
Okay,
So when
well, I guess my point is that it's US 29, so you do get a lot of traffic that comes off of 85 Mills Ave and vice versa, or opposite end, down Wade Hampton as US 29. You have traffic, through traffic, right? You've got a lot, I don't know how many number of cars, but you have a lot of through traffic that use that bridge to go other places than downtown. So my recommendation, or I'd like us to take a look at, is using message boards at those entry points, whether, for y'all to decide whether that's near the 185 corridor or north end on Wade Hampton, to let people know that Church Street Bridge expect delays, so that the motorists that aren't familiar with Greenville, who are just trying to get through, can use an alternate route.
Okay. Yes, sir. That is a great suggestion. We can discuss that with the district in particular, so we can work out the specifics for that.
And you say expect complaints from nearby apartments.
I figured I better throw that in
Already
just in
primed.
case.
Yeah, understand, but how much communication have you done with just those apartments? Because where you live and sleep is important to people.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm saying they need to be notified. They need to have something, and they need numbers of who they can call if they want to complain to, or if they want to know something, or if you know what your schedule is for like pouring concrete or for something drilling or whatever. If you could just send them a postcard, just those people who sleep there, it would be quite helpful. I'm sure it would.
Yes.
Not necessarily trying to cut down, but they sleep there. They chose to live there because it was there. They didn't know the Church Street Bridge was going to be redone during this particular time. So I think they deserve a little bit more contact than just there's a message board. They need a postcard, because it's not 1 million of them.
Sure.
It's just a few apartments there. They need notification, because that's where their home is.
Yes, ma'am.
So
We have some experience with this, Clint, obviously, how we coordinate with DOT. We know better than they do probably in terms of where the sensitivities would be in the departments. Also, office workers who are cheek to jowl with the board too, the White's law firm right there. So, yeah, I guess we are gonna have to put a little group together to work on this.
Yes, absolutely.
Downtown Business Association, y'all need to say something to them.
We do, as the last point says, we are putting it, we want to make it clear, very clear to the contractor that they are to be coordinating with local business owners that are affected by the bridge. The apartment complexes as well would definitely be something. We want to hold a pre-bid meeting with them to make this abundantly clear to them that they're going to have a responsibility in this process. We also do hope that we will be able to mostly not constrain the contractor too much and have them work mostly at least from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So they could do it faster, but it's going to be done at night work. And that would be a disaster for many of the residents there that live in those apartment complexes.
Now, when you say 7 a.m., are you including Saturday and Sunday?
Not for sure, ma'am. They may elect to do
Well,
that.
that would be something that the people in the apartment complexes and the business, they would want to know. But I mean, people sleep there, those apartment complexes. You know, if you're gonna do 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 7 days a week, you need to say that.
Yes, ma'am, we'll discuss that.
But if you're
Excellent.
not, you know, say that too, because, you know, they can sleep in late one day.
But we did want to specifically just make sure, the council may hear, your law enforcement may hear. We would expect some complaints to come from it. But we hope that we can minimize it through what we have taken in advance, the steps we've taken in advance. And parking is going to be difficult as well. That's unfortunately going to be a given for the project. All right, with that, Casey will give you an update on status.
Good evening, everybody. So as he's gone through all the details, I kind of want to give you an update on where we are timeline-wise and where we're headed. So currently, we are reviewing in-house the right-of-way and construction plans. We were hoping when we started this project that we were not going to need a right-of-way phase and that everything was going to be contained within existing right-of-way, which would have sped up the time. However, the stairs at McBee are currently halfway on DOT right-of-way, halfway onto the property right there. So what that did was we have made initial contact with them, explained what the details were, kind of showed them the plans, and we are going to need to compensate them during construction to be able to fix any landscaping that might get removed during construction. So we are required to have a right-of-way phase. And as you can see right now, that funding is obligating in May. Since we have made initial contact with that property owner and they know what's coming in advance, we expect that to move pretty quickly. But those negotiations are up to the right-of-way agent and the property owner. So that's why I have the project letting as to be determined and then the construction letting as to be determined. If it goes smoothly and say that the property owner executes that agreement in June, I would anticipate, just based on the time it takes for the department to put it into a letting, that the letting would be in November of 2023. Again, that's all best case scenario, but just because we've already had coordination with them, I think that that's pretty possible to do. And then as Tony mentioned, of course, well, once we get a contractor on board, the contractor actually tells the department their completion date, and then they, from there, determine when they start construction. So I don't have a definite time on when the construction would start, but once we get a contractor on board and we meet with them prior to construction, we'd have a lot more information that we would, again, be able to share with the public as construction progresses. So I want to outline the kind of the responsibilities and the things that are up in the air that we'll need to partner with the city on. We don't know as of right now if there's going to be a financial participation agreement or just an intergovernmental agreement, but the items that we're going to need to discuss moving forward are the overhead lighting, the pedestal lighting, the planter boxes and the landscaping, any uplighting that may go beneath the bridge, and of course the concrete form liners that make the Greenville logo and the Palmetto Tree logo. But we've been coordinating with Clint and the city to figure out how that is until we get some, because some of these are specialty items like the light poles and the bump out lights. We're having to coordinate to make sure that they are items that can be, we have to have Buy America items basically for federal funds. So we're trying to confirm where they are produced and everything, and how do we move forward based with that information. So that's still up in the air, but that's what we'll be working on moving forward. Of course, we'll have the city coordinating with the contractor for any items that they purchase that they want installed as part of the project. Approval of necessary encroachment permits for local streets, which are the streets under the bridge that we'll need access to, which is typical policy for the city and DOT coordination. There's nothing new there. And then any assistance in news releases through construction, whether that's helping by blasting it on the city social media or anything like that, so that we can keep everybody informed as the project progresses. So with that, we're happy to take any additional questions you might have about the project.
I have a couple questions, but they might be for the
Perfect.
previous gentleman. I apologize. Or maybe Clint too. So when we get into construction on this, I'm sure there's thought towards adjusting the timing of the signals on either end. And does that fall on us? Does that fall on SCDOT? You know, they start stacking up, and that may coincide with a lot of work going on in County Square, just kind of seeing worlds collide a little bit on the timing on that. What's
Yeah.
our plan for
The
adjusting?
coordination of different construction
Yeah.
plans is always a challenge in Greenville right now.
Yes,
but
it's an opportunity, Clint.
It is an
An
opportunity.
opportunity.
It is. And we like those kind of opportunities. We do maintain those signals. The city maintains those
Okay.
traffic signals through there. It is something that we probably need to have a conversation with the design team as well as the district office on. In fact, we had a brief conversation this morning in our staff meeting about needing to plan for this, adjust the signal timings to accommodate the one lane of traffic. But it'll probably be something that would fall on the city to do,
Okay.
since we do maintain those signals, but we're prepared to make
Okay.
those changes.
Church Street is a road that was part of the scope of the PED study. Yes?
Yes.
So I'm wondering, you know, whatever is developing out of this phase 2 of the PED study that we're in is, I assume the city is coordinating our plans for Church Street, the findings for that with this project, knowing that, in other words, timing of it.
Yes.
Fair assessment there?
Fair assessment.
Okay. I'm concerned about who's going to order those planter boxes. I'm just going to put that right there out there. They're lovely, but that is not a job I would want. I love the Gs and I love the look of them, but every planter box you have takes, I guess, a water truck going by slowly or someone with a water bucket walking along Church Street. And I just wonder if that's practical on a bridge that high. I'll just throw that out there.
The maintenance, that would be a responsibility of the city. Those are valid concerns from ongoing maintenance and the long-term maintenance as well. The planter boxes provide a nice buffer for the pedestrian
I was
space.
going to say, actually, the planter boxes are the barrier for protection.
And they still take water. I mean, I don't disagree with their functionality and all that they do. I'm just saying,
We could look at best practices around, we've already started that around the city. There actually are, I don't want to say this in public meeting, but some of those plants will not be real. You may think they're real,
synthetics.
no, they're not.
I was just going to suggest synthetics.
So there's several around the country. You mix and match. It'll be real in the beginning, then you turn into artificial. You don't even know the difference.
We call it
Bye.
plants faux. And
Yeah.
I would have
That's
no
just one
problem
example.
with
I'm-
that, given the
We'll talk
location.
about that. Nobody
I
heard.
mean,
that.
shh.
Just
Low
look
maintenance plantings need to be considered. But yes, we need to take a look at those planters in more detail. And
Faux is fine.
You might get some people who might do it for us, so don't y'all go around talking about,
Corporate sponsors.
We don't have a
another thing
problem.
People do.
yeah,
The
we
city.
should have people that come volunteer to help us. That could
But
be
you're right.
something.
I
I
mean,
mean,
line
do
up
it,
at
you
the
gotta do
door
it
to
right.
that job.
You
Yeah.
gotta do it right. You can't put it halfway in there.
Will.
Question,
Great.
comment? Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah. What's the volume on Church Street?
yeah, I was going to say 30 to 35, probably.
And how's that compare to Lawrence, Wade Hampton, comparable or more?
A little more, well, about the same as Lawrence,
Gotcha.
and
Should be over.
probably a little less than Wade Hampton.
Just a couple quick comments while the opportunity's here before us. I mean, I feel kind of a mixed range of emotions. First of all, I'm excited about what the future holds for Church Street because it's a critical roadway and bridge, and we need safety enhancements, and there's some aesthetics here for sure. So I think the finish line's going to be great, and we look forward to helping get there, no doubt about it. The balance is I can't help but feel some trepidation. It's a big deal. I mean, I know everybody here knows that it is. I see 12 to 18 months. My gut says, despite best efforts, it won't become 6 to 12. It could become 15 to 24, a couple of years of significant effort. So, I mean, what I would ask of the city manager and the city engineer is, I mean, let's pull out all of the stops of advanced traffic modeling, especially when I think about the traffic management system that we're designing and the investment we're making in it. I think about the intentional modeling we did. Augusta Road comes to mind when we talked about how, you know, squinching down lanes is going to affect traffic. My hope is that we have crystal clarity on what this is going to do to traffic patterns and traffic flow. And admittedly, I'm a little gun shy, so to speak, because a much smaller bridge has been out for a much shorter period of time, but we've seen firsthand what we suspected, but we've watched how, almost like when you divert water, there are predictable and real unpredictable ways that vehicles flow. And once you start this thing for a period of 2 years with 30,000 cars a day, I just want to make sure no stone is left unturned in terms of how we prepare and know with certainty what traffic's going to do. I do want to commend the DOT, whether it was June, July, or August this past summer. As you know, you sent a postcard mailer out, and I was blown away by how early that notice came. But what I also knew was that despite that effort, a lot of people would either not get it or quickly forget about it. So I want to say both kudos and keep up the PR campaign that you've already alluded to here.
Yeah, we're going to have to work very closely with, as Ms. Dow was mentioning, just getting the signals timed as best we can to move traffic through here. I think the just overall coordination with property owners, and we still got a little bit of time before construction will start, but just coordination with property owners, business owners is going to be, and communication is going to be critical to this project. We want to be able to lay out expectations as best we can from traffic impacts. And
one final thing, County Square is a great example given the proximity here, but however tactfully and delicately yet intentionally we go about this, I would hope we could delay or somehow manage any other attempts to significantly modify or close roads in the vicinity here. I think of a recent example where we learned of a prolonged road closure, or at least something that affects traffic. And so that's my way of saying, if this is going to be the biggest show in town intentionally and out of necessity for a period of time, let's make sure we know the sphere of influence, and any other attempts that can be delayed, I would hope that they would be treated as such.
It is a serious matter. You know, when this first was brought to us a couple of years ago, they were talking about taking the whole bridge down, totally going away. And we were very relieved when it turned out to be more of a replacement. We could keep the lane open, but my goodness. And then years ago, we had 385 bridge over Stone Avenue at 385 closed. I never did figure out how we got through that, but we did somehow. We were disconnected from 385 at 85 for a period of time. Cars had, if I remember, they'd go down and up and around. It was crazy, but
We will survive.
Thank you for the update.
but this is, frightening to us. Okay. We have the consent agenda. Motion, please.
So
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming. Aye. Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington.
Aye.
Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. Regular agenda, 14A.
Mr. Mayor and Council, as you know, this is the second reading of an ordinance adopting the newly drawn map of the 4 council districts based on the 2020 census data. The draft plan has us properly apportioned under the law with consideration given to other constitutional considerations and criteria. And then if approved tonight, will no longer be a draft, but will be the new map for the city immediately. I don't know if you'll have any discussions prior to a vote, but I would like to take the opportunity, if I may, to say thank you to staff who put a lot of time and effort into this project, starting with you, council, and y'all put a lot of time and care into drawing the map. But we also had IT staff who were in attendance with us, recording the meetings at all 8 public meetings. Mike Jan's staff and Phelan, Don, and Robert had most of those meetings, as was Camilla Pittman, who set up these additional 8 public meetings in addition to all of the other meetings that she had, and also attended all of those with us for our council in Columbia. And then most importantly, our GIS staff, who had the expertise to work on the map, the specialized software, the website, all the public information, our communications department. The longer I get to work with our staff, the more I'm amazed at the smart, conscientious people that we have. And I just wanted to say thank you to them, Carmen and Tiffany and GIS especially.
Mr. Mayor, the city attorney stole my notes verbatim. Ditto what she said, but also, this has been led, as we recognize, by the city attorney's office, in addition to all the folks who put in the hard work that have already been referenced. So thanks, sincere thanks. I'll make the motion for approval.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
I'm not prepared to read into the minutes, but somebody can.
Ordinance reapportioning the City of Greenville council districts based on the 2020 U.S. Census and other matters related thereto.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington.
Aye.
Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. Councilmember Fleming, you got some bodies of water in your new district, by the way. I expect you to go down to Conistea and check all those out.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, but there's that lake in your district now.
we'll be floating around there.
It looks like the ocean out there, yeah.
I'm serious.
All right. Okay, new business,
Okay.
15A.
Ordinance to annex approximately 3.14 acres of real property and 0.48 acre of adjacent right-of-way located at 150 Executive Center Drive, and to provide the zoning designation of C3.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second, clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington. Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. We thank the staff. Shannon, thank you. That's a good one.
Thank you.
Really good one. 15B.
Ordinance to enter into a development agreement between the City of Greenville and 660 South Main QOZB LLC for the design and construction of public improvements at 660 South Main Street along River Street, and to appropriate $310,606 in the Capital Projects Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember DeWorke.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
Aye.
Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington.
Aye.
Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye.
Hey, can I ask one question? Will we be able to see renderings for first? Okay, just want to be sure about that. I was concerned about some of the things that may have to be closed. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Manager, you got
One quick announcement, Mayor. You and council have made public safety a priority, including specific investments in salary, equipment, and facilities. Construction will begin very soon at the former floor building on Halton Road to renovate the space into police headquarters, fire administrative offices, and municipal court. Please join us 1 week from today, Monday, January 30th at 10:30 a.m. as we celebrate a milestone in modernizing and improving our public safety facilities. Police Chief Howie Thompson will also have some good news to share with you and the media about violent crime statistics and significant accomplishments of the neighborhood engagement and crime response teams. So please put that on your calendar.
We do have to bring a lot more attention to the fact that we finally have a new police station as well as city court, and we'll be there to help celebrate that fact. Big day of celebration.
It's about time.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a big deal, it really is. Okay, thank you very much, council. Meeting adjourned.
Just told you.